So it looks like I got the clear for us to start this beautiful recording of the world famous, illustrious, award-winning Kayfabe Cowboys podcast brought to you by three black men who love wrestling. As you can see right now, from week to week, I am the gorgeous one, aka GA. Just giving an intro and then I'm gonna pass it off to the most beautiful people that are on the cast. So the first person I'm gonna introduce right now is wrestling historian, hat connoisseur, sneaker soul collector, wrestling historian, mixologist extraordinaire. Am I missing anything? I probably am, because he's just that fucking dope. Legend, say what's up to the folks, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're back. And you know what? I said last week I was going to do better, but it didn't last. It did not last. And GA, before you do this, let me, if you don't mind. As you can see on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, we have the bald and the beautiful, the backbone to our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Rashad Harris, and I'm running a multi-million-dollar,
That's right,
on a brand new $500 camera, may I add,
oh,
because he saw somebody else with it. Must be nice.
shenanigans.
Iron Man match losing, Brother Harris.
What's going on, people? So, as the main character of this little show we have going on,
This little tinker shop,
little tinker shop, I just have to say I am tired. I had a long night. Woke up at 5 o'clock. Didn't go to sleep till 4 o'clock. Then woke up at 5 to go to the gym, and so it's a rough night for me and little Dom here. So we just kicking it right now. We just kicking it. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Just want to show me up, huh? Yeah.
I mean,
well, actually, my homie's hey, the lotion. Hey, oh.
What you doing with that?
All right, big dog.
we listen and we don't judge.
Hey, man, I'm
Kinky Nick over there.
You know what I'm saying? Shit. snap man takedown. But yo, so I saw Shad on the Instagram machines this morning getting the workout in, man. And it's just in time for the road to WrestleMania. Yes. So Rashad declared himself as an entrant to the Royal Rumble, as he said that would be the only way he'd make it to Mania. So I feel like as a podcast, we have to show up and cheat to make sure that he wins.
You was about to say threesome. I caught that. I saw you. Run the tape back. Run the tape. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So this has been another beautiful week in wrestling. Not much has been going on. So before I alley-oop it to Nick, that's going to moderate and give us from point to point, I would imagine that Brother Shadrick, the sultry and seductive voice that he has,
so seductive.
50 Cent. Anyway, yeah, man, I think there's an icebreaker to be had right now. So what you got for this icebreaker, dog?
All right, so for my world famous and all-inclusive icebreaker of the week.
It's a resort now?
Pretty much, yeah.
All-inclusive?
My bad.
I have a great question I want to ask you guys. So after last week's history-making Netflix or Raw on Netflix, I'm all over the place, and that main event being Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, which was a very good match. It made me think, like, what is the best WWE match between both of them? Not, of them together, but individually, what is their best WWE match?
So I'll jump out there first. I'm gonna go. It's kind of hard. Pause. It's difficult for me to decide between the two matches that I'm thinking about for Seth Rollins, because both of his matches with Cody were phenomenal. The Mania match where we got the surprise of Cody Rhodes, and then it was the Backlash match, I believe, where Cody had the torn pec when they had the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Mania match, simply because of all of the pomp and circumstance surrounding Cody coming back, and that match actually living up to expectations. Cody Rhodes was the first man I seen wrestle with lace inserts on the side of his pants and managed to not get a run in them joints. So I'm gonna go with that match. Seth and Cody at Mania is Seth Rollins' best match. And then for Charles Maurice Punk, it's difficult to choose because he has some bangers with Daniel Bryan, because this is a WWE podcast. He had bangers with Daniel Bryan. He had bangers with Jeff Hardy, John Cena, and Taker, and Brock Lesnar. Like he had good matches with all of them. But the best, I think the best in ring chemistry would I can't narrow it down to one match. I would say his best in ring matches were with were with Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
So you're just gonna list all of the matches.
I'm saying like I'm giving us, I'm giving us places to land, brother. Let me live. Let me live.
My bad. For
Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
wow.
There you go.
You meant that. For Seth Rollins, it was incredibly difficult because I feel like he puts on great matches.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually going to say a match that he lost.
He loses both of his matches, actually.
I'm not going to take that disrespect because I got some Seth stuff coming later.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Oh, he did a little pop-up RKO?
Right.
Oh, I saw a video on that not too long ago too.
Not only because of that match, but of course later on that evening when he cashed in to become the champion. But if we're just talking the match, that match is memorable on so many different levels. It was a great match, but that RKO was crazy. Montgomery, it was difficult because at first I wasn't a huge fan of Charles.
I almost forgot where we were going.
And I'd almost rather give another Seth, but I would say, and maybe it's because it's most recent, but the Hell in a Cell versus Drew McIntyre was super personal. That was going to be my choice. I was going to say the match is versus John Cena, but I'm going to go with the Hell in a Cell just because of the personal aspect of that.
Okay. And I think for me, I picked a Seth match that I feel like nobody really talks about, but it was a great feud. And it was his Hell in a Cell match against Edge. And that was probably about a year or so. Yeah, that was a very underrated feud. And I feel like, I'm not sure what, according to the dirt sheets, won like feud of the year, but I felt like that was an awesome feud. And that was a great match. As far as CM Punk, I would probably have to pick my one CM Punk match that I'll always go back and watch, even if it's just for the intro, and that's the him versus John Cena at Money in the Bank. Like, that was just an awesome match. Like, awesome vibe, awesome energy around it. Like, you just can't beat that. Like, he'll never beat that ever in his career, so.
I feel like he had some really good matches with a luchador, but it's escaping me right now.
Ray.
Was it Ray?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Punk and Ray had some good matches as well. Yeah. I think the fact that a lot of these guys that we're talking about have had great matches with multiple different styles like speaks to like how how good they are in the ring and how well how serious they take the craft. So I think if we can't pick who's better or whatever, like that really doesn't matter. But the fact that we're talking about two people who are at the top of the card, who are having relevant matches and relevant feuds, and they've been able to do it for such a long time, just like speaks to like why I love this business, man. Like people just performing at a high level for a long time. I love it, man. It's like it's like their careers are on Blue Chew. It's amazing.
Wait. Did we get a sponsorship? Let me. Did we get a Blue Chew sponsorship that I wasn't aware of?
Hey man, I'm working for it, man. Hey, if you want to lay the smack down and you want to be on Monday night and be raw and you want to rise to the occasion, Blue Chew is the only answer. Link at the bottom of this video.
Okay.
Jeez.
That's a wild ad for a wrestling podcast, by the way.
It really is.
Hey, bro. Hey, anything is possible, man.
But, per usual, I'm going to throw a wrench into our plans because since we're talking about Seth and we're talking about CM Punk, I have to say this. I think that Seth Rollins is the HBK of this generation, and I want to know how y'all feel about it.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
I need some context.
The attitude, the charisma, the entrances, the outfits, and just how he puts on, as we stated a couple minutes ago, great matches with all different styles. He comes out, he can make you love him, he can make you hate him at a different level than a lot of different wrestlers. Some people you hate until they're pushed, and then you love them. Mm-hmm. Like we did with our Bronson Reed. We hated him for a while, or at least I did.
I loved Bronson Reed.
Now I'm kind of, easing into it. But I think that Seth Rollins has that ability to carry matches that may not have been that good. But also he has the ability to put over talent while not losing his spot on the rankings.
This is true.
Like, he took that L on Monday, and I don't care.
Yeah.
If we had to pick anybody, and it's kind of hard to say that anybody's the HBK of any generation. I think I could settle on Punk just because of, not Punk, but I could settle on Seth just because of the parallels in their styles and the charisma, the entrances. You know, like Sean was a trendsetter when it came to like the ring attire. You know what I'm saying? Coming out there with the chains and the chaps and shit like that. And Seth is coming out in feathers, frilly, and lace. I could rock with that. I don't hate that.
And also think about it. Whose music do you sing? You sing Seth's, you sing Sean's.
Yeah.
What you guys shot?
So it's crazy that you mentioned this because I actually was thinking about like Seth Rollins would be the equivalent to like which wrestler in their particular generation. And I didn't come up with HBK because I feel like HBK was the man at certain points. The person that I came up with was Macho Man. And the reason I say that is because I feel like Macho Man was never really the man of his generation because there was always Hulk Hogan. And I feel like the same when it comes to Seth because you got Roman that's always been number one above him. Mm-hmm. But Macho also was very flamboyant. He also was great in ring, which like Seth. And he's had moments where he like slipped down the card, went to, IC title, mid-card title, and came back up. And he's also had the opportunity of carrying lesser folks to like top tier matches, even at Mania. Like his match against Logan Paul last year, 2 years ago was like
that was fire.
Match.
That was fire. That was fire.
And he completely carried that. So I wouldn't give him Michaels just because I feel like Michaels is a better in-ring performer. Yeah. And he's also had moments where he was like the man no matter what he did. And I feel like Seth has never really been the man.
Fair. I was about to say something outlandish, but y'all not going to kill me in the comments. Hell, I'm going to say it anyway.
I saw a gesture of yours that was a bit outlandish in what Shad was saying when he was talking about how Macho was, was good and sound in the ring. You gave me he said they're both good in the ring. You were like, so there will be no Macho Man slander on this here podcast. I can tell you that.
So I shouldn't say what I was about to say?
If you about to say something wild.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go and hydrate.
Whoa.
Get your throat moist.
Hey, both of y'all. Okay. If you have the 4 pictures and Macho Man is one of them on the erased one from history, I'm always picking Macho.
Who are the other people?
Who else is up there?
I mean, you could have, even with the fuck Terry, you could have...
Terry's always gone for me.
Okay, hell, y'all pick 4. At the end of the episode, I'll probably still pick Macho. Let's do it like that.
Like, from that generation, like, all right, so and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but from that generation, if you got Macho, if you got Hogan, let's say you throw in Andre the Giant and maybe
Ultimate
Warrior. I'm taking Hogan the fuck out of there. And this is aside from my hate of him being like a racist piece of shit. Like in ring, in
ring, yes.
No, in ring, yes. Like like Hulk Hogan was trash.
Yeah.
He was trash.
That leg drop is top tier, the most trashiest finishing move I've ever seen.
The big boot is the touch of death. But Andre was a spectacle. He wasn't, he wasn't. He didn't. They didn't need
discussion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, for his size, he did big man shit in the ring. Like Hogan, he didn't. So Hogan and Ultimate Warrior are the same size. Like Ultimate Warrior was more exciting to watch in ring than Hogan. And the only reason I say that, and I'm not saying that Ultimate Warrior was a tactician by no means, but Ultimate Warrior, like he came across more athletic in the ring than what Hogan did.
And everybody did though. So I mean that's kind of.
But of those 4, Macho Man is leaps and bounds above all of them motherfuckers in that era in the ring.
Yeah, okay. If we're strictly talking in ring,
any of them, excluding Macho Man, none of them had a match that was better than Macho and Steamboat.
Agreed, but I'm telling you, if we're
Macho and Ultimate Warrior, it wasn't. But Macho and Ultimate Warrior is like a great match.
Okay, and because of who?
Because of Macho. Because of Macho.
I love that I'm stirring the pot here before we get going,
man.
cream rises to the top.
I'm gonna let y'all have your moment. Okay,
Elizabeth, cool. Will you marry me?
All right, so look, we're gonna kind of breeze through a couple things because, like we said, it was a slow week, and I'm new to this hosting thing, G, on how you do it. But let's talk about SmackDown really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
What happened on SmackDown?
That's what I'm about to say. I believe it started with Paul Heyman. I could be incorrect.
It did.
Paul Heyman came out, spoke to Cody Rhodes. They went through that whole thing. I'm tired of Cody Rhodes being involved in the bloodline stuff. Kevin Owens came. But then the Tongans came out, or at least one of the Tongans. And Jacob came out, and then were attacked by Big Jim. We give him all the respect. Did you notice the announcers never called them the Bloodline?
Yeah, because they can't.
Mm-hmm.
So subtle story detail is the tribal combat match, whoever won, they had to acknowledge the other. You know what I'm saying? So Solo has to, he said that if he wins, I have to acknowledge him. I have to be, you know what I mean? I have to follow him like he's the tribal chief. So they can't call them the bloodline until they acknowledge Roman as their tribal chief.
And if you remember a couple months ago, I think it was, I always get them confused. Looked mad when Solo said that to him. If he ever beats me, you have to acknowledge him. And it was a face made at that point. So yeah, that was interesting to me to see. What else happened on it was Tiffy time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like the best part of SmackDown was the promo of Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
That was this week?
Yeah.
That was this week.
Yeah, he could talk.
I ain't gonna hold you though. Up there with that was LA Knight throwing him outside the venue, saying he's using his outside voice. I'm gonna put his ass outside. LA Knight's been cooking with them shits, especially with the Oofalafa and all of the things. So he's been cooking too. But I want to stop here because there was a women's match that I'm still trying to understand.
Mm-hmm.
There was a fatal four-way. So it was Bayley, Nia, Naomi, and somehow Bianca got thrown in there when she was just out there to support her homegirl.
Okay.
She never really had a point to be out there, but she got thrown in the match. And
she's Jane Cena, man.
I agreed. No, but I wouldn't give a damn if she wasn't in it. But it was just random because how you fighting somebody and you match their outfits. It was just kind of weird to me. Of course, Bayley went over, and I hate that Naomi took the pin.
Ding dong. Hello.
I think that was about the highlights for SmackDown, guys.
Yeah, it wasn't too much happening though.
Yeah, it'll be. I think next week I think it'll be a big night on SmackDown next week because I believe Roman comes back next week. Solo
Roman comes back on the 27th. I thought.
Is that
the day the WWE game drops, and that's a Monday.
Okay, that's right.
Solo comes back.
Solo comes back next week. Yeah, so we're gonna get some sort of advancement in the dynamic between him and his current his former bloodline now. About what's to come on the following week, what's going to be expected. I think we get turmoil between the two, and then I think we're gonna get a reluctant face turn from Solo. Because when he acknowledges that that Roman's the tribal chief and Jacob eventually turns on him, Jacob's gonna be the heel. So Solo siding with Roman to acknowledge him is going to make him a face. So I think the next feud we get coming up is going to be Jacob and Solo before we get to Jacob and Roman.
I was actually just thinking, like, what do we do at Mania with Jacob and Solo? But I feel like having them face off against each other would probably be the best way to kind of do that.
I agree, but I don't see where Solo has a chance in that match. Unless they do something and start to build him up.
Well, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't necessarily need to have a chance. It's just where he was with regard to his positioning and rank in the bloodline. It's like, yo, I was the tribal chief. You were my right hand man. You were my enforcer or whatever. Like, so now that kind of like puts them on a level playing field. Even though Jacob's he's gonna kill him, and I hope he does it relentlessly, and drags it out. But it's like it's gonna be good to see, and I think it'll be dope to be able to see Solo get his WrestleMania moment because he's been, for what we can say whatever we want about him in ring, he's been like consistently getting better at what he does since he made his debut. Like
That's true.
he was on NXT doing all right as a street champ. He was doing his NXT thing. You know what I'm saying? He was developing and then got thrown into the main picture and was forced to learn how to become a better pro wrestler on the main stage. So I think he deserves a Mania moment.
From where he was last year around this time to now, it's like light years away. Like he's improved.
Character development.
Yeah, character development is crazy. He's improved a lot. Like I just wish he had more chance to kind of show what he does in ring. Just because outside of like the losses, he hasn't really, outside of losses and tag team matches, he hasn't really dominated in singles to be like he's the man. So I feel like that's probably one of his biggest issues, especially when he was up against Roman. Like he should have had more chances to like dominate people.
Yeah.
I would love to see him in house shows. I feel like the videos that we see from house shows is when Solo is at his best.
If there was a house show MVP, Solo Sikoa is definitely in the running. From the stuff that I've seen, like that dude is hilarious.
Yeah.
And then he's probably got like the best wrestling meme of the year. I got 2 tickets. That is, to me, that's in the past year, that is the best wrestling meme.
Okay, you said meme. Okay, because I thought you were talking about the one where he was like praying, throwed up the ones and all that before he got powerbombed, but that was
Nah,
a gift. So
that picture of him holding the 2 tickets, man, it's classic, bro. Classic.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so that was a wrap on SmackDown. It wasn't too much. I think they're still adjusting to 3 hours.
Is SmackDown 3 hours?
Yep.
SmackDown was down 3 hours
because it's the only show on USA.
Yeah, it's on USA in the US. Elsewhere, it's on Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But as we wrap up SmackDown, of course, that means we go on to Raw. And we would be remiss, and I meant to do this at the beginning of the show, we would be remiss. I wore this hat as a shout out to the people in California, everything that they're dealing with. Raw was in California last week, this week. I believe SmackDown was too. So thoughts and prayers to all of those who are going through things. We support you, and, we're going to send some donations to different charities. I've already done, so I'm sure y'all will do the same. Let's jump into...
Actually, if you can get me some info, just let me know. You can tell me off the pod, but I want to know where I can send some clothes to.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm
I want to
one
send
of these groups.
I want to send like because we have like a lot, like pieces from the brand that are just sitting in a box in the closet. Like I would much rather they go somewhere that could do some good. So
what brand is that?
Nobody Dies a Virgin. It is my clothing brand, and this show is official. Hey, Shad's wearing it. Shad's wearing Unvirgin right there. That's a piece from winter 2021. So it's Nobody Dies a Virgin. You can find us on Instagram at unvirgin.ndav. We have an amazing pop-up we got coming out next month. New merch, a crew neck, a hoodie. I don't even want to talk about the other stuff we got coming out, but it's going to be great. We're going into a different lane in the direction of the brand, so I'm so excited. All right, continue.
When can we get the Unvirgin Kayfabe Cowboys collab?
Ooh,
I think we could possibly get that done. We're
going to
No. We're going to no.
Don't try to Hollywood us.
No.
Don't Hollywood us.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
That brand champion hoodie he has there, I love the fit. I love how, I like the weight of it. So we could do that. We can get the logo on the back. One side we can get Unvirgin Cowboys, and then on the other side we can get Brett Screw Brett, Die Rocky Die. I'm with it.
All right. So back to Raw. I'm gonna actually start with what he's drinking right now, but I'm gonna start with you, Shad. How did you feel about Raw as a whole?
I think it was a regular Raw. One thing I really like, with it being on Netflix, I can kind of watch it at my leisure.
Right.
I don't really watch any TV like when it happens. So to be able to all right, after I put my daughter down, can go and rewind to the beginning, but then also fast forward. I remember those days of the when it was on the network, being able to fast forward or skip through some stuff. So I really like that. As far as the show itself, I think it was a basic Raw. I feel like they kind of, last week was the Super Bowl. This week was the the second or third week of NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a regular week. Nothing. I can say nothing really progressed, but it was basic. It was basic.
Yeah.
One thing I will point out, that because it happened to me, I love that if you wait till the minute Raw goes off the air, all of the commercials are gone.
Oh, really?
Word?
Yeah. So because I didn't get a chance to watch. I wasn't feeling too hot on Monday.
Oh man,
Got up to, just try to catch up because I didn't want to be late for the pod. Was watching it. I was like, oh, that was a commercial break because it went from one movie to a completely different one. It
that's
was
dope.
it was super dope.
That's dope.
So just something
Yeah.
to kind of think about.
Yeah.
Jervis.
So to avoid jumping in later into the format, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
avoid talking about one thing that happened on Raw.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the overall presentation of what Raw is now. And I'm just scrolling back through the card. I really enjoyed I like the Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser match. Just because I like the story that they're telling with each other, because every story isn't going to be at the top of the card. You have to have fillers, you have to have mid card stories.
True.
I like that they're making Ludwig Kaiser be a thing outside of Gunther, but I'm glad that Sheamus got the win. But also, I kind of liked the Finn and Priest street fight.
How do I turn my
No,
camera
no,
off
no,
on this
no.
shit?
So no, no, no.
Where's the
And here's why. I
Shaw?
kind
You
of
get this shit right.
So y'all ain't let me finish. I like the street fight simply because I thought it was going to be the blow off for their story. I thought it was going to end. Like when I saw Finn get put on the stretcher, I was like, all right, cool. They're writing this nigga off of TV. They're going to finally get over. They're finally going to be over with this. And then somebody sprinkled some holy water on Finn Balor. He popped back up. He got rid of all of his afflictions, and he was an able-bodied human being again.
That's my issue.
But what I did like about that is that they found a way to feature somebody else in the main event of Raw, as opposed to it being we got to put a champion there. Like Gunther's promo was decent too, but it's cool to see them elevating other people and putting them in prominent spots, man. So that's why I liked the match. The graps itself, they were but I liked what they tried to do with the match.
That match felt like an AEW match to me. How did you go from being on the stretcher, you can't move, to a coup de grace in 2 minutes?
Hallelujah.
Come on, bro.
It's a miracle.
Ain't no way. You toe up, but all of a sudden, come on, man.
Hey, man. I've seen Undertaker sit up from worse.
He ain't the Undertaker.
Hey, man. He got the demon in him.
Does he, though?
Mm-hmm.
Does he? Because I can't tell.
The match itself was it was an okay match. Like, it just wasn't it, dog. Like, I'm tired of them two, like, being in the same ring. Like, hopefully they never wrestle again, at least for another 3-4 years, because I'm tired of it.
For you to yell, "I'm not my brother's keeper."
That's right.
Come on, bro.
You thought this was New Jack City?
Hey, man, this bigger than Nino Brown.
Come on, man. Come on.
What's next, man? What's next?
So you brought it up because I was actually going to avoid this. Gunther versus Jay. I don't know how to feel about it.
We all know what. I don't want to say we all know what's going to happen here.
We all know what's going to happen.
We all know what's going to happen.
Simply because, to me, right, think that I think Gunther's IC title reign was more impactful and made him look more dominant than his championship reign.
Yes.
I've seen somebody else say that too.
I think that there's an opportunity for them to create and make a new star, create a big moment. Now, if Jay wins and then loses the title in a rematch the following week, I ain't mad at it. But right now, Jay Uso is the biggest, aside from Roman Reigns, he's the biggest star in the company. Like, crowd reaction, overall, like, I'd imagine that his social media
merch
imprint
sales,
is crazy, merch sale, all that shit.
The shirt he had on Monday was fire, though.
Hey, that joint, hey, I almost bought that one.
Yeah.
So why not? This is Netflix. This is the new era. That's what Penta said. This is the new era. Like, let's make a big moment on Raw next week. I'm locked, stock and barrel. Let's go Jey Uso, man.
So this is my only issue. To kind of go back to your first point as far as like Gunther's IC title reign being more impactful, I think it was more impactful because it's the IC title. So you felt like he could have lost that title to anybody that he faced, like realistically. Even like Chad Gable or Sheamus or Drew McIntyre, whoever he is up against, he realistically had a chance of losing it. With it being the world heavyweight title, like, I feel like they have to build people up to be that champion. So even when he's in the ring with Jey Uso, you know he's not going to win, especially how over he is right now. You know he's not going to win the title from just a random ass match. Like, they're going to build him up, have him actually fight somebody meaningful, and then he can win. So
what if?
It's WrestleMania. Y'all know how I feel about WrestleMania season. They not just gonna do anything like just random ass shit because they building up for a major match at Mania. Whatever Gunther has, whoever he's gonna face is gonna be a major match. So they just not gonna, have him drop it to Jay for him to actually lose it a week later. That just doesn't make any sense.
So, like, let's examine this, right? Jay did say, he said, I put that bloodline family drama behind me. I'm moving forward. So, like, now he's showing, all right, I'm back on Raw. I'm separate from that. You know what I mean? What if this is the Mania moment for Jey Uso to come into Mania as the champion? Because
and
we
lose
don't
to
have,
Roman?
we don't, nah, because Roman's on SmackDown.
Unless Roman wins the joint.
Roman got bigger fish to fry, like trying to get back against Cody. Why would I skip my multi-year beef to get back to somebody that I've been tied up with for multiple years and took my title to go and fight my cousin? Like, nah, like, me and my cousin pieced it up. Like, what better way to show the dominance of the bloodline than to have at the end of WrestleMania Jey Uso holding a title up and Roman Reigns holding a title up?
Would love nothing more.
I just think there's so much to do as far as creating moments as well as merch sales if they can find a way to just make things happen to put the strap on Jey Uso.
That'd be very similar to Guerrero and Schmishma. Chris Schmishma.
I heard it. I was like, so, but now.
Yeah.
So here's the thought, though.
Redacted.
Right. Jay wins the belt, and now the fight at Mania is Jay Jacob. I'm here for that.
I can see them actually, if they don't go Jacob and Solo, I can see them going Jacob and Jay one.
Here for that.
That would be crazy.
So two things from that promo. One, I hate how like they made Jay look like they made Gunther look a few weeks ago where he wasn't quite sure about himself. Like his voice was cracking. He looked a little soft, for lack of a better term. And when he mentioned putting the bloodline stuff behind him, in my mind, that was a key to be like, that's why he loses. Could be wrong. Yeah. That reignites the fire, dividing the sides, whatever that looks like.
Cool. I don't want to see the bloodline feud no more, man. Like,
listen. Like, I don't want to see Cody involved with the bloodline, but here we are.
Simply because I don't want to see it, simply because it's not going to be equal side versus equal side. All right, maybe we'll see what happens when Solo comes face to face with Roman, but I'm here for that. I'm here for that match. That match is that shit gonna pop ratings next week, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, I hope he wins. I do.
And it's not even next week. It's at the
it's this Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
That might be a reason why they actually pulled. I don't know. Hey,
there were no title changes last Saturday night.
Yeah.
We know we assume Cody not losing. Mm-mm. We know Rhea not losing no time soon.
Nope.
Maybe the tag titles finally get defended. I don't know. But one more thing before we get to the main event, or the quote unquote main event of Raw. The promo in the very beginning made me laugh from a hearty place when Charles Montgomery came out, was doing his promo, whatever. Got interrupted by Seth, and he goes, "Why couldn't it be Rhea Ripley interrupting me?"
Right. That's probably the one thing I like about Punk's, like when he's in the ring talking to somebody, interrupts him. Like, he pretty much just talks all through that joint.
He be pissed. His face is sell.
That'd be the best part.
Yeah. But it seems like everybody's in the Rumble. I hope that it's going to be a good show. You got some super big names. So I can't wait to see about this. But let's talk about the gentleman that you mentioned earlier. Michael Cole said it was the worst kept secret in wrestling. There had been vignettes for weeks. Side note, I really think Raw missed a match because wasn't Ray supposed to have a match?
Yeah, they switched that. Him and Pentagon supposed to face like the New Day, but I think they switched that up.
That's why I thought it was going to be him and Penta. But so, okay, cool. They skipped that match for sure. But his name has been said. Penta came out, roaring crowd, couldn't get out of his jacket.
Not at all. He was stuck for a second.
You
He was
saw
like my
it was
daughter.
low key like The Rock the week before. I think the moment overtook him,
Mm-hmm.
and he just couldn't get in there. Match was incredible for a first match. There's a couple ring rust moments,
Yeah.
but I loved it. What y'all think?
I don't think. No, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
I don't think the incredible was a good word. It was a
For a
solid
debut
match.
match. For
Yeah,
a debut match.
it was a solid outing. Like I've never seen him wrestle, but never like a one-on-one match. I've always like the moments I've seen him in AEW has always been like a tag match. So seeing some of his moves was like kind of weird, and this is probably like one of the only times I've really ever seen like a husky luchador.
He not
You seen La
husky.
Parka?
He's not husky, but like he's not like
Oh, he just
Raymond. He's
he's
not.
like he got a
He's
little.
La Parka.
He's pretty much La
No,
Parka, yeah.
no. La
La
Parka
Parka
was
Jr.
La Parka was drinking beers, bro. Like
And he was a
Penta.
cruiserweight.
Yeah, Penta be in the gym. You could tell Penta been doing them curls, cuz.
Yeah. But I feel like it was a solid match outside of that little leg drop thing he tried to do on the bottom rope that was like that failed miserably.
That was bad.
Yeah,
At least that was early on in the match though. That was early on, yeah.
I felt like him going against Chad Gable, like Chad wanted to make sure he get his stuff in, so it just felt like it was too even. And I feel like for your debut, you should definitely have like, if it's not a squash, but like a borderline squash-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. I think that showed what you can do and that you can hang with the big dogs.
Mm-hmm.
For your debut, if your debut match you almost lost, he sold the leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was a great. That's why I say incredible, because you legit thought he could have lost that match.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought it was excellent. G, before I go any further, G, what you thought? What you think? Excuse me.
My gosh, I was excited like I was his family sitting ringside, man. Shit, it might have been tears in my eyes too, bro. Like just to see that, and this is not me shitting on AEW or voicing my hate for AEW, but the fact that WWE was able to take a guy that they weren't really putting in prominent positions at AEW and make him a big fucking deal just shows the star power that they do have over there that they aren't actually executing. But I was excited to see him come out. His music was great. The entrance with the fire behind him was dope. I like it's just everything. And one of the bigger things that came out of it for me was the fact that it was nice to actually see that he can speak.
Yeah, I've never heard him talk before.
Never.
It was dope that, because a lot of the luchas, like they don't really let them speak, or they don't really have the best speaking English. But he was like, I can talk this English shit. I'm excited. I'm gonna let y'all know how excited I am, and I could double back in my Spanish shit. So I was just excited to see, and I was excited to see a guy just be happy to be where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my only issue, just to piggyback off that, I feel like his presentation, the way he looks, doesn't lean for him to be talking that much. Because his presentation is like super creepy, like it's not like a regular luchador like Dragon Lee or even like Ray Phoenix, where he should be able to talk regular. Like him talking regular with him looking like that, it messed up the mystique of who he is to me.
Well, but he may never speak again.
Yeah. I think that was just like, and I read some things that there were some other spots in the show that got cut because his segment ran long. I think this was genuinely a guy that was just happy to be where he was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And a live show, you got a hot mic in front of you. It's like the emotions get the best of you, man. It was good to see, but
especially if you're not used to speaking.
But I'm putting this out here right now. Match of the year this year coming up, if it goes the way that I think it's going to go, is going to be Penta versus Aleister Black.
Okay, I see what you did there. Shad, you got to go on YouTube and watch Penta versus Ray at Lucha Underground,
or Penta versus,
or true, or what was it? Puma,
Prince Puma. Penta and Prince Puma was good. Like Lucha Underground was dope, man.
Yeah,
that was dope.
It was super dope.
Yeah, I've only seen probably like 1 or 2 matches from that joint. So.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad that he finally came to WWE. I hope that they use him properly. I hope that he's not added to like the LWO or
keep him away from the LWO. Like
any of those Spanish factions. I hope the WWE pulls away from that. It was dope to see his daughter. I'm glad they said it was his daughter, because I was like, yo, why is this girl up front like losing it?
Hey man, I wish they wouldn't have said that was daughter. I'd be like, yo man, he's really impacting the
already.
He's the
But I
Justin
thought it was a
Bieber.
dope deal.
Bieber.
All right. Well, speaking of Raw, as we kind of finish that out, did y'all notice there had been some changes with the announcing crew? So don't get it twisted. I love Pat McAfee, and I feel like he brings out the best in Michael Cole.
Mm-hmm.
But that means that the Raw announce team, who I wasn't a huge fan of to begin with, I love him when he does football. I can't even think of the guy's name right
Joe
now.
Tessitore.
You like him, GA?
Well, he's a familiar name, and
Okay,
he's solid. He's solid with whatever he does. Not
right.
saying he's the best wrestling commentator, but he's solid. Like
Yes.
you know what you're gonna get from him. He's gonna give you consistent output, and sometimes we're I think we're biased based off of our love for wrestling, that we don't want to allow somebody from
An
outside of
outsider.
wrestling to come into it and not giving them a solid shake at it, man. But on the
I
flip
don't
side,
dislike him.
yeah. But on the flip side, though, I wish that there was enough show to put somebody like Corey Graves on a 2-man team, because he doesn't want to be on a 3-man team. He
Well,
likes being in a 2-man commentary team. But also, it's really shitty that he shit on his place to be on the team with him and Booker T on NXT.
well, let's get there because he was on SmackDown, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. He added the former wrestler aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, this could all be a work,
I
but he
don't
put
think
out a
I
so.
don't
couple
think it
tweets.
is.
I don't think it is either. He was added to NXT, so he put up a couple tweets about being told that he wasn't physically able to do one passion.
And then he
Now
wasn't on NXT.
right. Well, he had stated that he had some stuff to say.
Yeah. So they moved him. He was gonna be on NXT, and then he put that tweet out about being told that he's not famous enough. And then they said that he wasn't gonna be appearing on NXT. So my thing is like, it's like, dog, all right, bet. We know what you want to do, right? But in the grand scheme of things, wrestling, as much as I love it, is the land of make believe. Like, you've been given an opportunity to be in front of millions of people, whether it be on SmackDown, Raw, or NXT. NXT is the only wrestling show on the CW. Go be the lead commentator there and make it almost impossible for them to deny putting you on a bigger card. Like, I just think he would have been featured more, because he would have been the lead guy, because Booker T is there for comic relief. Corey Graves would have carried that show. You know
No,
what I'm
but the other
saying?
guys up there, Vic Joseph, I believe he is. He's like the main guy up there.
But Corey Graves would have ended up being the lead. Just because of his experience on Raw and SmackDown.
My biggest issue is that Corey Graves, no matter who he's been with over the last 10 years, he has been like the number one guy. So I would look at it as a demotion as well, to go from being the lead in WWE for the last 10 years to now having to go down to the.
Well, when he teamed up with if he's teamed up with Michael Cole is always the lead.
Michael don't count though.
Yeah. Outside of Michael Cole, he's been the number one guy. Like, whatever announced team he was on was always the number one show at that time. So the one thing I don't like is that they have Wade Barrett. I don't like Wade Barrett that much. They could make him go to NXT, and that's still gonna be a dope show.
But I think Wade Barrett did some time on NXT.
He can go back. He can go back. He's not that good.
It could be them trying to shuffle and find the right chemistry on each show. It's not saying that you're not good enough or you're not famous, or I'm speculating because I don't know what they told them. But at the same time, it's like we trying to find the right chemistry so we can solidify these teams. Because Michael Cole.
So why keep moving me though?
But shit, Michael Cole was on Raw and they moved him to SmackDown.
But the issue with that though is, like, this is the one issue with Pat McAfee, because y'all know as soon as August come around, he's actually going to be not on TV no more. They're gonna be like, yeah, he's off for the season or whatever like that, and so they got to keep moving people around. You're right.
Which is more of a reason for you to stay relevant by knocking shit out the park.
Yeah, you go
right. But I would be pissed, like, yo, why my schedule got to keep getting changed because he's not a full-time guy.
Hey, guess what?
But
when Tom Brady went to the booth, somebody got booted for that job, and you have to understand.
And Pat, and this is no shot at Corey Graves, but
he ain't patting.
Pat McAfee is bringing more eyes to the tube than Corey Graves is. It's just because of his, his obvious reach with his other platforms, bro. It's like it's a no brainer. Like if I got to put Pat McAfee on the show, am I gonna put Corey Graves? Like who's better? Like Corey Graves is probably a better wrestling commentator, right? But in the world of sponsorships and ad dollars and stuff like that, you gotta bring the cash cow and put them in a prominent spot. You have to.
And even the energy, like Corey Graves ain't getting on the table and yeeting.
No,
He's not making Michael Cole yeet.
Dog, man, I'm telling you, Pat McAfee has bought out the boy in Michael Cole.
Yeah, true.
I do think that they could have left Corey Graves. If you're going to leave him on the 3-man team, put him on the 3-man team on the show he was already on.
Right. Because both of them guys are not experienced, so like he can carry that show a lot more better than him over there with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee.
But you know who I think is going to end up ultimately being a great commentator if they choose to do it, and I wish and I'm hoping that it happens in their career. I think Miz is probably going to go down as probably one of the better commentators that have ever done. Once he transition, because now you will have a commentator who could be a heel commentator that can take a bump and get involved in the storyline if he needs to. Like I think when Michael Cole finally decides to retire and walk away, Miz is going to take the mantle.
I can see that.
Miz and Pat. Ooh,
that'd be pretty dope.
That'd be crazy.
That's gonna be crazy.
Before we switch topics real quick, this topic got me thinking, like, what is like y'all favorite announced team?
It's got to be JR and the King.
JR and the King is definitely my favorite. Nostalgic. They're not the best.
Yeah, they're not this, but that's my choice.
Yeah, like me looking back and looking at some of that stuff, JR was fucking terrible. Not JR.
The King was terrible.
Jerry Lawler was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like all he did, he was there. He was the funny man. Puppies.
Yeah.
Like just to say inappropriate shit.
I feel like my favorite announced team that people don't really talk about now was Mauro Ranallo and Corey Graves.
Bruh, they put out some heat in NXT.
Yeah. Okay. When Mauro used to throw out the random rap references, I like this shit was fire.
Hey,
Mamma mia!
Coach wasn't bad either.
Coach wasn't bad.
Coach wasn't bad.
Coach wasn't bad.
Wait, you waved that one off.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, to close that one out, and speaking of people potentially losing their job, I want to go back in time a little bit, which is going to lead into my other segment. I don't know if y'all seen the reports. Odyssey Jones is back accepting bookings. He is stating that the young lady who had the accusations against him, he was getting police reports against her, and things went left. How do you feel about WWE releasing and cutting ties with him before knowing the full story? Now, it's been done before. We know that. But how do you feel about that now?
I think as a publicly traded company, they kind of got their hands tied. In all honesty, I mean, it probably was explained to him as well. Like, we have to.
What can we do?
Yeah, like once these allegations get out, involving domestic violence, like we have to cut ties with you, even if it's like, hey, we give you like an honorable discharge and you could possibly come back if you want, maybe one day. But it sucks that it happens that way. The exoneration is never as loud as the accusation, and that's what sucks about it. And the same thing happened with Velveteen Dream, like
and Enzo.
Yeah,
definitely Enzo. That's what I thought of.
But it also presents an opportunity for him to actually show, there's a reason why they brought me there in the first place. I can hit the indie scene. I can go kill shit. I can go to Japan. I can go to TNA. Please stay away from AEW. But there are a lot of things that he could do to actually show that he's like a valuable asset to a brand. It sucks though.
Yeah, it definitely sucks, but he wasn't really doing nothing, so I can see why they let him go. Like, this is gonna be a headache. Let's go ahead and cut him. He only been on a show once in 3-4 years. Yeah. So just let him go.
I mean, I mirror all of that. The final thing that I have to make a hard left onto this is I saw some stuff this week that I just want to hate on.
Okay, always love a good hate.
And I watched the backstage segment.
We're closing on hate?
No, we got. I think Shad had a hot take for us before we close out. But
yeah, well, just as breaking the fourth wall. I got 11 minutes.
Yeah, and that's why I want to get to it right now.
Right.
I'm not sure if you saw the backstage segment that WWE produced on YouTube, but Kofi Kingston has cut off his mustache and just kind of has this going on.
That makes me hate him. That's so heel. That's so heel.
I'm gonna send you the picture.
It's trash.
It pissed me off so much I had to stop watching the video because I was like, "What made you do that?"
Yeah, he wanted to be hated.
It pissed me. It worked. It worked.
Every black man needs a mustache.
Dog.
Listen,
the only thing that would make me hate him
except
worse
LL.
is it. The only thing that would make me hate him worse if he got the mustache that curled up on the side.
Yeah.
And cut the beard off.
I kind of like those.
Yeah, if he came out there like what's it like homie from Vaudevillains, I'd be like, oh, he's fucking terrible. I hate this guy. I hate his guts.
So I had to get that out.
Yeah. So my hate of the week is kind of piggybacks directly from what Nick said, and this is gonna be a hot take that might ruffle a little bit of feathers, but the hate of the week for me is Kofi Kingston didn't deserve to be world champion.
Fans did that. I agree.
I ain't mad at it.
He pretty much got a
form, but
Kofi Kingston is pretty much the guy that works at your job that's mediocre at his job, but he just been there for 15 years. So y'all like, go ahead and be the CEO. Like, nah, it don't work out like that. Like, he was okay at his job, and his run just proved that he was just okay.
That's if we were doing our other segment, I would pin that. I agree wholeheartedly. Mine, before you had to get out of here, GA, is that you should never, ever headbutt a Samoan. And I mean the women too. Did you see Rhea headbutt Nia Jax?
Almost took herself out.
And she ate that and Nia came right back with it. Nia's joining the bloodline. That's my hot take of the week.
So are we doing hot takes or hate?
Both of them, because I hate Nia. So I just want to throw that out there before I forgot.
My hot take of the week is Bayley is the least valuable horsewoman.
I fully agree. I concur.
Yeah. I'm struck. This is the best thing I could come up with just right now. But
are we saying in totality or back then?
I'm talking about in totality, because Charlotte Flair, when she come back, you know she getting thrown, and she can go down as the woman that won the most world titles, easy, right? Becky Lynch, in every iteration of herself, has been at the top of the card, right? Except when she was the Irish last kicker, like when she was just coming in, she worked her way up.
Everybody has their time.
But yeah. Bayley as the hugger, like she was there. But since, do we still see her the same? Like,
that's the same could be said about Sasha.
But and the only reason I say that is recently I've watched a lot of things, and Sasha's choice to go to AEW was trash. But every match that she's put on outside of AEW has been phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like everything that she's done over in New Japan or whatever other organization she has affiliation with, she's been putting on some phenomenal matches outside of her matches at AEW. So
she's even started to put on some good AEW matches though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with who her dance partner is as well too. So if you're putting her in the ring with somebody that's not as skilled, that can actually like pick up on the cues and flow seamlessly, like although I hate her finisher, it looked like she debuted a new one in one of her most recent matches, and I think that might be better. But yeah, like even Mercedes has shown that she's worth her weight in gold outside of WWE. So my hot take is gonna be that. And then when she was in the ring with Roxanne Perez last night, Roxanne Perez to me came off as a bigger star.
Yep.
So that's my hot take of the week. I love Bayley. I love that she's Hispanic now. And then
one thing we all hated on really quickly. One thing we all hated on was the women's Intercontinental final.
Oh yeah,
trash. So
that was my hate. My hate. I wrote it down right here. Hate of the week. Women's IC. That's my hate of the week.
Yeah.
I don't. Neither side. I don't hate Dakota Kai. I don't hate Lyra Valkyria. But I hate that was what we had for the IC for the inaugural IC title match.
I just don't care about neither one of them. Like they could have. That would probably been a prime example for them to give the title to somebody more established. Like even if Charlotte would have came back, I'd be like, okay, I don't like it, but I get it. Like, these two have no motion. Nothing about them is popping. The match was okay at best, and it was just meh.
Yeah, super meh. It should have been the meh championship. Like I couldn't. Although the match itself was good.
Yes, match was
So
good.
objectively, I could say the match itself was good. That fucking suplex that Lyra Valkyria did to Dakota Kai off the apron, I was like, what?
Yeah.
When she got her up in there, I was like, all right, she gonna near her in the head to get back down. And then when she straightened out, I was like, so to me, I think that might have been their ode to be like, all right, I know they read Twitter. They probably were like, yo, ain't nobody fucking with us. We can come out here and put a banger. So I can give them that. They put on a good match, but I still didn't care about it.
Yeah.
That's my hate.
That about sums it up for the week. As we close out, GA, tell people where they can find you.
Well, introduced in this podcast was my clothing brand, so you can find that at unvirgin.ndav on Twitter and on Instagram, and at nobodydiesavirgin.com. We will be sending some pieces out to LA if I can find the right charity to get some shit to. You can find me on Instagram at Zach Morris, and you can find me here on the Kayfabe Cowboys podcast. And if they don't take away TikTok, we're gonna be picking up our traffic on TikTok as well.
Shad, tell people they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere, Shad Harris, as well as my YouTube channel, which is Rashad Harris. And make sure you subscribe to the Kayfabe Cowboys YouTube channel as well. We got some great stuff coming out. We got some new segments. We'll have some merch sooner or later. We're going to have some more guests. So make sure you subscribe to the channel.
And you can find me on Instagram at IamLegend_716. And since we're plugging out this stuff, make sure you follow my drink page, legendary_mixes. I am back fully cleared. The Achilles is 96.2%.
You about to be shaking ass on bars again, huh?
Wow. As long as you tipping. But it's been another amazing episode of the Kayfabe Cowboys podcast. We appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe.
And
let us know how you feel about the episode in the comment section.
And as always, Brett screwed Brett. Die Rocky die. And we out of here. Peace.